experience lots of tension emotionally during meditation, totally okay. I think when we sit in meditation, especially guided meditation, when we are prompted to go through different emotions, go through different thoughts, we are prone to things that we thought we've healed, things that we didn't know that we needed to heal, things that we didn't know that needed to be resolved, things that we didn't even know that existed. All of those things start to come to the surface because we have finally allowed ourselves to be still. And in those moments of stillness, that's when everything begins to come to the surface. That is when everything begins to come to the surface. So as we become to a point of calmness and stillness, everything that we need to heal, everything that we have suppressed through constant activity, through allowing ourselves to be distracted by television, by eating, by movies, by leisure activities, all of those things begin to come to the surface. So it's totally normal, totally okay, because in those moments you are releasing, and you may feel a lot of emotional tension, physical tension as well, because the body is purifying, it's purging itself. Those emotions are purging itself. Those feelings are, the emotional body is purging itself, and the being is purging itself. So totally normal to feel that, totally okay to just sit with those feelings, embrace those feelings, and just allow them to be released. There's nothing that you have to do in those spaces, but besides allow. There's nothing that you have to do besides allow. And when you allow, in that space, when you allow the tears to flow, when you allow the emotions to flow, when you allow the pain, even the pain and the tension to persist, slowly it dissolves the more we just learn to sit with it. And the more we learn to sit with it, the more we learn to release it, and the better we get at it. So totally okay, totally normal, and it's a great sign that you are healing. It's a wonderful sign and a beautiful sign that you are healing. I always say, if you've joined us plenty of times, if you can't heal it or you can't feel it, you can't heal it. So when you feel it, you are healing it. When you feel it, you are healing it. So thank you for healing, and thank you for feeling. And sometimes you just cry just because you are feeling yourself. You are feeling your true self. You are feeling the peace, the bliss, the joy of your true self. You are feeling, and you are being filled up with so much spirit in that space, so much great energy, and it just makes you just want to just break down and cry, because it feels so good. It feels so good, and you can't understand it, you can't explain it, but you just know it feels good. And you just allow yourself to sit in that and to embrace that, however it feels. So thank you so much for asking that question. May you continue to find solace in this space of meditation. May you continue to find healing in the space of meditation. May you continue to find restoration and release in the space of meditation. So just allow yourself to cry, to feel, to heal, to release. Yeah. Infinite love and gratitude. My humble gratitude to you. How does one meet turmoil that shows up in their life with grace instead of being consumed by it? Excuse me. I think turmoil, chaos, comes into our life by grace. It is all by grace that we are given challenges. You know, challenges are also grace. You know, challenges, difficulties, turmoil. It is all a blessing as well. So when we receive it in that way as a way to get better, as the way to sharpen our spiritual awareness, to strengthen our virtues, and to remove our vices. So not taking the incident personally, not taking the conditions personally, not even taking people personally, if they are the ones that are bringing chaos and turmoil into our lives. Not taking those things and situations and circumstances personally, but giving yourself an opportunity to receive that as a lesson, receive that as a way to make you stronger, and not being very quick to judge it as good or bad, not being so quick to suppress it or run away from it, but seeing it, receiving it as grace. These people must have burner accounts. KD, really Kevin Durant, maybe it's Kevin Durant, I'm not sure. But yeah, just in moments of turmoil, just allow it to show up, and show up, you know, as yourself. You know, you show up with it and bow to the foot of it and say, what do you have to teach me? What do you have to show me? And allow that turmoil to be your guru, you know, because every storm comes to help us grow. Every storm helps us transform, you know. So it's embracing the storms and weathering the storms, because as storms do not last forever. No storm lasts forever. You know, no storm lasts forever. And every storm is simply a passing cloud. Every storm is simply a passing cloud. I do my best to kind of ignore, but they kind of like stop the flow of the chat and people giving advice as well. So yeah, not taking it personally, not taking people personally, not taking circumstances personally, just kind of standing back objectively and watching the situation and ask yourself, how can this help me grow? What is this teaching? What is this teaching me? And be willing to accept that teaching. You know, be willing to accept that teaching. Yeah. And those tests come by grace as well. Those tests come by grace as well. So meeting them with grace, because you know, we wouldn't be who we are without failure. Yourself as well. Be with you. You are already great as you are, but life says, you know, she can be greater, she can be more kind, she can be more gentle, she can be more successful than she already is. And life comes and life says, I will bring that out of you. And so we must be willing to surrender to that and accept that and embrace that, as that is also grace, and allow it to bring the very best out of us, you know, to bring the very best out of us, you know, because there's nothing that will come into your life that will come to destroy you. You know, everything comes to build you, to build your character, to build your spiritual fortitude, mental fortitude, and to lift your vibration and help you vibrate higher, as Iona has suggested. So, yeah, continue to embrace it and rise above it. Thank you so much for sharing this space, for always coming to this space and having such beautiful questions. Thank you for your inquiring spirit. And I bow to the student in you, the teacher in you, the guru in you. Love and light. What kind of yoga do you practice? Peace and light be with you and everyone here. Jasmine, thank you for asking. I follow the path of Kriya Yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda and the lineage of gurus, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Swami Yukteswar, Maha-Avatar Babaji, and Lahiri Mahashaya. So I follow the path of Kriya Yoga. Kriya is the path of, I guess you could say, breath mastery. Working with the subtle breath, working with the subtle energy. So that is the path of yoga that I follow, and the teachings that I follow of Kriya Yoga. And you may, if you are interested in that path, yes, somebody left it there. I will maybe pin it just briefly. If you are interested, you may check out the website srf.com, yogananda.com maybe, or srf.com, and they have an entire series of lessons. It takes about it takes a year to get initiated into Kriya Yoga. But in the meantime, they send you lessons on the science of Kriya, the science of meditation, the science of living. So I've been following this path about 3 years now, and it has totally elevated my life, my consciousness, my awareness. It has put me in the position that I am here now, serving in this capacity. I don't have any, I have things all around that are SRF related, but yeah, that is the path I follow, Kriya Yoga. Again, the path of breath mastery and subtle pranayama. So if you are interested, I invite you to even just Google it and look it up. It is a transformative practice, a practice that liberates one from this physical existence as well. So all the great sages, yogis, and masters have practiced some form of Kriya Yoga. So thank you so much for asking. I bow to the student, the light, the teacher within you. May your path be illumined with light and be guided by the ancestors and ascended masters. Infinite love, infinite gratitude. Yeah. No problem. I don't know why I go back to that. Thank you for creating this space. Thank you, Ebb and Flow. What tools, practices do you use to find voice, power of expression? The mermaid, I think it's srf.com. Let me just do a little search on my computer. Excuse me. Maybe it's yogananda.com. Maybe it's yogananda.com. It's not srf.com, but Yogananda not srf.com. It is Yogananda-srf.com. They changed the website. So Yogananda-srf.org. Sorry. Yogananda Yogananda, or you can type in yogananda.com. They may come up. Yeah, Self-Realization Fellowship. But in regards to Ebb and Flow's question, what tools, practices do you use to find voice, expression of power? Again, my own personal practice, as taught by Self-Realization Fellowship, as taught and guided by Paramahansa Yogananda. That is my foundation. That is my foundation of my individual practice. When I'm in this space, I really don't teach much from that, but that inspires me to be able to serve in this capacity and teach in this capacity. So that's always the foundation of my inspiration in this space. in the space of meditation, in the space of contemplation, in the space of introspection. So that's always my foundation. That's always my initial tool. So that meditation, those teachings, and that philosophy has benefited my life greatly. And so the things that I can teach from that teaching, I offer that to you guys as well, and offer that to the masses, through whether it's through this space or whether it's through my art and my music and my poetry. So it's really a medley of all type of things, just my life, just being in this space, drawing inspiration from the questions that everyone asks. It's just really life in totality, you know. I try to look for, well, not really look for inspiration everywhere, but be inspired by everything. Be inspired by silence, be inspired by, you know, the way the clouds move, be inspired by the sunrise, be inspired by just watching a blade of grass as it springs up from the ground. So just really being observant and open and willing to see the miracle that is life, you know, really paying attention to life in that subtle way and realizing that it is a true miracle. Artavis, Jai Guru, brother, well wishes to you. But yeah, just being open, just being like a fly on the wall to life, and just watching life with amazement, just watching life with curiosity, just watching life with an openness to learn. You know, because I don't know everything, and I don't want to get to a point where I think I know everything. So just being always willing to learn, always being willing to grow and evolve. You know, so more specifically to your question, the teachings of Yogananda have really inspired my life in such a way, creatively, spiritually, mentally, physically as well. So yeah, thank you so much for asking that question. Sending you love and sending you light in your life. Jasmine again. Do you fast? What kinds of fast do you do, and for how long? Yeah, I fast every Friday. Every Friday I fast in reverence of the goddess Lakshmi. She is my prescribed goddess. So every Friday I fast and do puja to the goddess Lakshmi. So that consists of not eating solids, just drinking water, or maybe having one sort of juice, having one juice a day and water throughout the rest of the day, or just juice fasting throughout an entire day of my fast, no solids, or just completely dry fast. So every Friday I fast in reverence to the goddess Lakshmi. Friday is an auspicious day for the goddess Lakshmi. And so that is the day I fast. And sometimes in between that, I fast just half days, just on water. On mornings I usually fast. I usually don't eat until about 2 or 3. So that's maybe like a half day fast for me. But yeah, I have in my highlights, there is a story highlight of a juicing fast that I went on for the month of February. So sometimes I do juice fasts for a week or a month even. Maybe I'll do one in the near future because I believe I need one. But yeah, juice fasting has really been an amazing part of my journey, spiritual journey as well, and helped me heal physical ailments too. So yeah, I definitely recommend juice fasting, but be careful. Maybe starting off, just do it for a half a day, see how you feel, and then as you work more into it, maybe do it for a full day, see how you feel, and then you can move from there. But be very careful with fasting. I would suggest that you see a dietitian first before you really just jump all the way into it, because you want to, see if your body is prepared for it. Especially if you do a lot of activity, if you are very active in your life. If you are very active. I'm not truly that active. Most of my day consists of sitting like this or sitting at the computer writing. So I don't really have an active lifestyle like that. So just be very careful in that. Consult a nutritionist and consult somebody who is verified and has the authority to give you the necessary steps to fasting as well. So I'm sure there's a lot of people in this space that can help you. Also check out Medical Medium, I think that's his name, Medical Medium. He has great juicing recipes and gives great advice on the benefits of juice fasting and a whole lot of things. Why starve? Great question. Thank you so much for asking. I think fasting is not so much starving yourself, but purifying the body, cleansing the body. We don't know how much work we put on the body by eating every day. See, everything that we eat has to be digested, and that digestive process that takes energy. And so the reason why you feel lethargic, the reason why you feel sometimes depressed, the reason why you feel lazy and have so much anxiety is because the consciousness, the energy in your body is working so hard in your stomach to dissolve that food, that you lack clarity of mind, that you lack a sense of peace and calmness. So fasting helps you first and foremost live. It increases longevity of life. It gives you more energy, and when you have more energy, you can do more things. And you can think clearly, and you can live truly peacefully. So I don't think I would say fasting is so much of starving yourself or depriving yourself of anything. The moment we stop eating, we realize that how much we are slaves to our appetite. We see how much we are a slave to our cravings. We see how much we are slaves to our own minds even. Because when I first started fasting, I would just drive myself crazy and feel like I was going crazy because the body was just craving something to eat, out of boredom, out of comfort, out of trying to suppress emotions and trying to suppress thoughts and trying to find a distraction for what's going on in my life. So when the moment we step into fasting, we realize everything, all of our impediments, all of our vices, and things of that nature. So it really improves our spiritual discipline, as Whitney has stated. It really helps us to be more disciplined, have more clarity of mind, and be more in communion with spirit. Be in more communion in spirit, as truly all things are spirit, but in a degraded state. So, if you have a piece of meat, it is a lower vibration than vegetables. And if, vegetables are a lower vibration than drinking water. And just drinking water is a lower vibration than just fasting. So fasting is a great way to help you evolve spiritually, help you grow spiritually. And as somebody has stated, what's your name? Basmara has stated that it helps us be more present. So it shifts focus and from physical food to spiritual food, as Whitney has stated. Born day fasting, yes, definitely watch PNGI. Definitely fast on my solar return as well. Great practice to put into practice as well. So I definitely do recommend, sorry spending so long on this question, but definitely recommend researching it before you just jump into it. So thank you all so much for adding to that conversation, adding to the wisdom, adding to the knowledge. I don't know, I clicked that, I could have just answered that. Do you like football? Yeah, you want to play? But no, yeah, I like football. I used to play football in maybe high school. I played football in high school. I played wide receiver, and even though I'm short, like this short, even on the screen, but yeah, I played cornerback and wide receiver. More so wide receiver because I was like shifty and fast and quick. But yeah, I like football. Um, yeah, thank you for asking. More so basketball though. I like basketball a little bit more because when you're wearing like football equipment, it's like so heavy, and I could like see, like my vision was totally distorted in a football helmet. So what is respect? Great question. I would say in one word, respect is compassion for me. Respect would be compassion for me. And with that compassion comes acceptance, comes acknowledgement, comes a sense of, welcoming that person with respect. So for me, the Washington football team, for me, respect is compassion. It's nothing that we have to demand or even command if we are just compassionate and we receive people with compassion. Then respect is natural, because compassion acknowledges that there's a person there, that there is something there, and you treat it with care, and automatically you treat it with respect because you don't see that thing as separate from you. You know that thing is you, that person is you, that entity is you, and so you automatically respect it out of compassion, out of love. So yeah, quite simply compassion for me. Thank you so much, Angel Special, for asking that question. I bow to the light in you. I honor the light in you. Thank you. The Washington. I don't know why I know why they named it the Washington football team, because they didn't have too much time, but hopefully they'll change that name. How do you become more present in every moment? Beautiful question. Beautiful question, but often so difficult to describe. But the present is always here. The present is always here, and the present is all that exists. All we have is now. All that exists is now. We are always present. We are always here. And I think we forget that. We take this moment for granted because we're holding on to the past or reaching out for the future. And we never give ourselves the opportunity to just be here, now. And I think it comes by listening, being present calls for us to listen. You see, when we are listening, we are ever present. As you are listening, if you are listening, truly listening, you are totally vulnerable to every word, every sound, every syllable, every enunciation, every pronunciation that leaves my mouth. You are with it. You are with the words. You are with the moment. You are with the music. You are with the visual. You are totally listening. And that requires a certain level of intimacy. a certain level of vulnerability from both the speaker and the listener. So it's nothing that we have to give a philosophy to, nothing that we have to truly be present, be present, be present, be present. Because in that, you will forget the moment. You will forget to be present by trying to remind yourself to be present. So, practicing presence of mind is listening, I would say. Just listening. Just listening. Because in listening, there's a sense of vulnerability, a sense of not me, but this, whatever this is, whatever is in front of me. So as you listen to life, as you practice listening to people, a lot of times when we are talking to someone, we are having a conversation, half of the time we're listening, half of the time we are being inspired by the words that the person is saying, and our mind is following that thought into a different thought. So, and I have this difficulty sometimes as well when I'm listening to podcasts. I'm trying to listen, but they say something that inspires a thought within me, and 2 minutes will pass, and I'll come back and come back to the podcast and find myself listening again. But I think being present just calls for us to listen and be vulnerable to the moment, because this moment is all that is here. This moment is all that exists, and all we have is now. So being more present is realizing that, this moment is all that exists, and this moment is all that will ever be. The past is a dream. The future is a dream that is yet to happen. We cannot truly say anything exists besides this moment and this breath. And because that is so, we allow ourselves to be in this moment, because we cannot say whether or not yesterday was a dream or not. We cannot say or whether or not a year ago was a dream or not, because we cannot perceive it. We cannot perceive it. We can remember it, but we cannot actually live in that. So, just reminding yourself that all you have is now, and reminding yourself that all that exists is now. And allowing yourself to be here, to be now, to show up for whatever this moment calls for you to do. As all 203 people have decided to be present, 202 people now have decided to be present in this moment. They have decided to be here. They have decided to practice presence by showing up. So, just show up. Show up to your life. Show up in your life. Show up to every moment, being willing to listen. Thank you so much for asking. I bow to the light, the student, the teacher, the guru within you. Love and infinite light. May you find peace in the present. May you find joy in the present. May you find love in all that you are seeking in this moment. It is all here. It is all now. It is all available to you now. In this moment, receive it, acknowledge it. It's yours. It is yours. How do you stop focusing on trying to fix yourself? Beautiful question. Thank you so much for asking. I think I know, and we know that we are not finished products. We know that we have to grow, and we are growing. And I think in that journey of growth and evolution and of self-improvement, we don't give ourselves the chance to grow. We are overly analytical, we are overly judgmental, and we are hypercritical of ourselves. Even though that it's okay to want to improve yourself, to grow yourself, to evolve yourself. And if you whatever you consider that to be, trying to fix yourself, you are truly never broken. I would say that truly you are never broken. You are only shedding layers of what you are not, shedding layers of who you once were, shedding old versions of yourself and stepping into the light of your truest self, your highest self. And that highest self, that true self, the most inner self, does not need fixing because it was never broken. What may be broken is the sense of egoity, the sense of who you are not, so that does not need fixing. That only needs to be shedded. And as you grow, as you evolve, you step into the power of your true being. So being kind to yourself, being patient with yourself, being gentle with yourself, having more compassion on yourself, to know that you are not broken. You are not something that needs to be fixed. You are an ever-blooming flower. You are an ever-expanding light. So you will always be learning something new about yourself. You will always be exploring different dimensions of yourself. You will always be standing on a new horizon of who you are. So knowing that you are not something to be fixed. You are not an object to be fixed. You are growing, you are evolving, you are not broken. And being content in what you are in this moment. All that you can do is show up in this moment as all of you. If that means you are hurt, if that means you are sad, if that means you are happy, you are depressed, and even if you feel broken, showing up every moment, every day as who you are, and being willing to grow from that point, not ignoring who you are today, not ignoring what you are dealing with today, and being content and satisfied in who you truly are, regardless of the things that you are dealing with, So, as Whitney says, you are enough exactly as you are. Everything has prepared you for this moment, this phase of your life. Everything has prepared you for this phase of your life, this version of you, So as you evolve, as you grow, again, you're just shedding layers that need not to be fixed. They only need to be shedded so that you can see and know what you truly are. So, may you continue to grow. May you continue to evolve and be patient with yourself and allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to evolve. Allow yourself to work through problems, to work through difficulties, to work through tests, and just show up for them. Just show up, and be willing to learn from all versions of yourself. Be willing to grow into the best version of yourself. This version of you is also important. This version of you is also important. So although you may know your potential and you may see it so very clearly and so very vividly, trust this version, because this version is leading you into that version. So show up as all of you today. Show up with everything that you may be carrying. Show up with everything, Come as you are, as they say in some Christian churches. Come as you are. Come as you are to the throne of God, to the altar of God, to the throne of today, to the altar of today. Come as you are, you know? Yeah, so infinite love and gratitude. Thank you so much again for asking that question. Thank you. Amico, baby. How can I calm spirit of fear? I am afraid. We have several meditation. I have a meditation on fear, so if you go back in my IGTV, you can check out that meditation on fear. But fear is a great enemy, I would say, of the soul. I think we fear because out of feeling insecure about going forth into the darkness, going forth into the uncertainty, going forth into the unknown, you know? And that's totally understandable. But to eradicate fear, to dissolve fear, we have to be willing to step out of our minds and step into our hearts and step into trust. The mind is blind, and thus we fear. The mind cannot see. It can walk, but it cannot see. The heart can see. The heart can see. So the heart acts as eyes for the mind. So whenever you are faced with fear, it's always important to step out of your mind, get out of your mind, and step into your heart. Step into trust, and that trust brings courage, and that trust ignites faith, and that trust even ignites the fire of bravery, of fearlessness, you know? So in moments in which you are fearful, I invite you to just stop in that moment. Take a moment to get out of your mind, maybe even place your hand over your heart and say to yourself, I am stepping out of my mind and into my heart. I walk in trust. I walk in faith. I choose faith over fear. And spend some moments there. Just spend some time there, you know, to get out of your mind and back into your heart. And as you do so, you will feel a sense of calmness. And that calmness will bring clarity. And that clarity will bring guidance. And through that guidance, you will walk into your fears because you know you are being divinely guided by love and through love, you know? And truly, what we fear, everything that we are seeking is on the other side of the things that we fear. So fear is sort of an optical illusion to test whether or not you want that thing, whether or not you want to meet that thing that you so lovingly desire, so intensely want. Everything that you want, everything that you desire is on the opposite side of that fear, you know? So maybe fear is your wall. Like you get going, you get motivated, you get inspired, You start to create, you start to move in that direction of your dreams, and the moment you hit that wall is fear. And you just can't get over it. And so you turn around, you retreat, and you start to deem yourself unworthy, incapable, unable, undeserving. And every time you meet that wall, and maybe fear is your wall that you can constantly you continue to hit it, and everything that you want is just on the other side, you know. So the moment you meet this wall, come back to heart center, and not like you have to force yourself through that wall. Just gracefully step through it. And stepping through it, you will step through the threshold of fear and everything that was pulling you back, everything that was, causing all of these psychological and mental issues, The moment you decide to, just step through it, just walk through it, because it's all just that fear. The feeling of fear is so very real. But the actuality, the reality of the fear is but in one's own mind. And we all have different fears and different things that we have to conquer. And we must be prepared to meet our minds with courage and with the love in our hearts. So yeah, I urge you, I commend you to be, encourage you to be brave, to be fearless, to be courageous, and walk through that. Yeah, walk through that. Yeah. And the moment you meet your fears, start using your words. Start using your words. I am courageous. I am brave. I am not afraid. I am worthy. I am left.